Today's episode of On Tap is brought to you by College Peep Show. Head on over to their website at repcps.com to check out their newest selection of hats, hoodies, tees, and drinking apparel. Use code ONTAP for 10% off your entire order. That's ONTAP, all capital letters, all one word. Back to the show.
All right, welcome back to another episode of On Tap with the Boys, episode 66. We're coming off of, this is going to be the first episode after Christmas.
No,
second. Okay. Second episode after Christmas. I don't really know what happened at the holidays, but we have today a very special guest that has actually influenced my life pretty dramatically. We have CPS Dave from College Peep Show here today.
Yeah, how's it going? Happy to be here.
Yeah, this is phenomenal for me. So I don't even know how you want to jump into this. I guess we could probably start with an intro. That'd probably help, huh?
You are now listening to On Tap with the Boys, a podcast about beer, bad decisions, and bad friends, with your hosts, Cody, Tyler, Dalton, and Tucker.
All right.
Dave, where do you live?
I live in Hammond, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Hammond.
Yeah, Hudson area.
What's the local watering holes that are good in Hammond?
Well, Shuggies is good because they have live music pretty much every Saturday. All the bars, there's 4 bars in Hammond, and they all have really good food. Razza's is the Packer bar, and that's like Old Reliable. That one's open till bar close every night.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
that's a favorite. Mm-hmm. Across the street from that is Cheap Andy's, and they kind of have a loophole with their smoking bar. They built a little patio bar with a full bar, and so that's the one that all the smokers go to hang out, and they kind of party the loudest, I think, in town.
Yeah. Okay.
So like a big thing with us Minnesotans, like we always give Wisconsin, we kind of fucking hate Wisconsin over here, but at the
I understand that.
At the same time though, when COVID happened, we were over there.
Dude, Wisconsin was our savior.
We have fallen in love with the whole fact that the whole drinking aspect and everything. You can always find a place to drink, always find a place to party, and the smoking in bars. Like you can find multiple bars in Wisconsin to go smoke
That
at.
don't give up.
That's true. Out in the boonies, there's a lot of bars that they just don't. A lot of them will use pop cans.
Yeah,
for smoking in the bar, and it's just like the Wild West. But,
I was gonna say,
but in the Midwest,
yeah, you walk in there and you kind of get eyeballed too because they know you're not a regular. You haven't been here before.
You're gonna snitch on us for smoking?
Yeah.
You better get cool real quick.
They're breastfeeding a child in one hand and smoking Marlboro in the other. No.
I've been into a couple places in Wisconsin, like around the like Danbury area, like those little hole in the wall places where like you can smoke in here if you put $5 in this jar, because if we get caught, this pays the fine.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
genius.
Yeah. So like there's some sort of loophole. Like some people just don't give a shit.
Is it the same one that's a strip club during hunting season?
No.
I love that.
Antler Inn.
I don't know.
I think that's what that
I thought
one
it
is.
was North Pine or something like that.
Antler Inn, something like
There's a couple
that.
of them.
So
Whatever.
CPS, how did this all start? Because I remember in high school, CPS was crazy. Like everyone that I knew had CPS on Snapchat, and it always changed every single week.
It had
because
to
it kept getting taken down.
Yeah.
Give us an insight into how this all started and why you had to keep changing it, and what like kind of the timeline of this whole Snapchat craze.
Pull that mic into you too a little bit.
So I was working overnights in 2014, and long story short, my buddy just kind of put me up to it. I was following an account called College World that just shared like dumpy nudes every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you couldn't even tell where they were from or why they were taken for that account, but it was something that was never on Snapchat before, so everyone was just crazy about it. And later I had found out that there was like Do It for State and a bunch of other ones that were similar, but I didn't really know that. I just thought it'd be fun. My buddy put me up to it and said, why don't you start your own? And I thought, well, I could figure out how. You just need to be able to upload to my story. And at that time, there were apps in the marketplace that will allow you to do that. Since then, Snapchat has removed those from the marketplace.
Yeah.
And so then I got clever with the help of a friend of mine, Kyle, who developed a hack through a Raspberry Pi. And so I was actually running a script that mimicked an Android device.
No shit.
Everything that got sent into CPS would get auto-saved in a folder, and then I would flip through and say yes or no and delete the no's, post the yes to my story for 24 hours. And that's what allowed me to build it to be so big, because on a busy weekend, I was getting 2,500 submissions.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I was going to ask. You had to have gotten a ton.
And at its peak, 70,000 views every day. So I don't even know how many followers were on that Snap account, because it only measures views.
Right.
But then it would get shut down. And I had to find a way to let people know what the new one was because they were just like figuring it out and DMing me.
Yes.
And
Right.
It was so hard to follow.
I had developed a Twitter and a Facebook, and then eventually I developed a store and I put a page on there just for usernames so that I could just send people a link. And then when they wanted the new account, I was actually sending them to my store. So it worked out really good in that respect.
Oh,
too.
so they would have to click,
And
they'd see your store and then find the new.
And it familiarized people with my merchandise.
Yeah, that's smart.
So we said CPS or whatever. I said it earlier, but it's College Peep Show.
College Peep Show.
Beautiful name.
Yeah.
And yes, it is. It's great because the acronym CPS is perfect. College Peep Show, it's perfect. Where did you come up with that?
I just made that up based on the account that I was following called College World.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I want to stay with that aspect. Being in the Midwest and Wisconsin and Minnesota has a strong drinking culture. So I wanted to include that. And I actually made an account first called Wasted in the USA that was just going to be like drunk shenanigans.
Yep.
And I wasn't even in college when I made this. I was literally working overnights as a machinist and just did it kind of for fun. And then it eventually all blended in together to College Peep Show.
Yeah.
And I just ran with that. Had I known that CPS actually stands for Child Protective Services,
See, I made a joke
never
earlier.
would have went with that. Yeah. But I never had dealt with them in my life. And so it never even dawned on me that CPS
It's
has
not
multiple meanings. I Googled College Peep Show and it didn't seem to exist.
So you had a good home life growing up.
I was gonna say
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah.
it's a good thing that you didn't know what CPS meant before.
That is a good point.
Before you got here, we were our other co-host. He had to leave to watch his kids, and he said we had CPS come on, or else I'll call the real CPS on you. Yeah, that was pretty good. But
So now when it gets taken down on Snapchat, they don't notify you at all. It just doesn't let you log in, right?
It varies. Sometimes they will email you, and it just depends. Lately, it's been like once a year or less, and so it hasn't been a big deal. But you can't be risky anymore on it.
No,
right.
It's not like when the content first started. It was everything. We had stuff like Titty Tuesday and Thong Thursday.
I remember that.
And Hump Day, and I kind of looked to the Chive. This is kind of pre-Barstool when I first started.
Right.
Yeah.
And I liked the Chive and followed them, and I liked their content because all of their content was just uplifting and positive. It was hot chicks and cool cars and cool extreme sports.
Yeah.
And it was just all positive, uplifting, dopamine type stuff, their daily dopamine dump. And so I kind of modeled my stuff off of theirs. But unlike them, I didn't really like pulling from the internet. If I want to see a Reddit post, I go to Reddit to see it.
Exactly.
And that's why I kind of fell off the Chive. And now they've moved the Chive TV, which is huge for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of kept going with the content that people were sending me. Fortunately, when I started, I was anonymous, but people thought it was an organization because of using words like we and our and us.
Yes.
Yep.
And so I built it as that, and people would just flood me with content.
Yeah, that's insane. It's absolutely insane. I remember as a kid having this always, and whenever it would, all of a sudden there was no stories for like a couple of days. I'm like, it got shut down. What's the new username? We got to find it. We got to find it. We got to go. So then we'd ask all of our friends in the whole school, and then it would be like, everyone's looking for it. Someone would get it. And then boom, everyone would have it again. And then just kind of like restart it over and over.
Yeah. Cause this was when we were in high school is when you started. And I remember seeing tits. Like I said, it was like shaped my future. I'm like, bro, did you see that rack on CPS today?
What is this?
Like,
what is it about that version of titties rather than just like Googling it? That's so much better.
It's the craze.
I was thinking about this on the way here. It affected a lot of people's lives. I had a chick reach out to me and she said she meant to send it to my account and it was like a nude, but she sent it to a coworker instead.
Oh no.
And then he got awkward and they ended up having to take it to HR and that guy got fired and she got 3 days suspended for it being a problem at work.
Whoa.
He got fired for getting a nude
because he got weird with her and got really inappropriate afterwards. And it was an accidental send that was meant for my account.
Bro, if I send you a dick pic and you try to fuck me, that's on you.
Yeah, I mean, I think what makes CPS so cool is the consensual aspect of it. Like, every single photo on here was girls taking these photos themselves or someone taking them and they're posing for it on purpose. And I think that for me as a kid, seeing college age people like, oh, this is
we're not.
sweet.
We're not. I mean,
We were 17.
18. We're on the verge of
16,
being
17.
adults. But it's
Right,
not,
right.
I was
But-
19, 20. I mean, I'm older than you guys by 1 year. So
But what I'm saying is, it was that aspect of it is like everyone's on here is it's either just drunk shenanigans or just like fun.
and like
shit.
he said, it's a dopamine dump. It's fun.
And that was
It
all
is,
fun.
yeah.
The implied consent was always important. Like hottest bartender was a trend, but I didn't want to involve bartenders that were like at the till not paying attention.
Oh, that'd be creepy.
Right.
I
Yeah, so
want
you
them to
filtered
grab a
it
couple
out.
bottles and be excited to be part of it.
Yeah,
and then it works.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, for
I
sure.
like that.
Yes, there's a
And
difference between being creepy and fun.
Yeah. And speaking of creepy, I had problems then with ex-boyfriends dumping their
Nudes.
their photo library, and then the girls would find it on there. And so that was a problem. And I always wanted to have the girls back because most people didn't
Yeah.
realize it, but the content was mostly like chicks and cool stuff. But the followers were like 90% men.
Yeah.
So I always went up the bat for the girls because they were what was making, drawing people to
Oh,
me.
yeah.
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 The 1% of the followers were making 90% of the content, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just so crazy that it was all nudity, and sometimes people would send videos, so it was like people banging in their car.
I remember seeing a couple of
like-
those, but I always remember they didn't stay up for very long.
No,
They always got taken down.
Usually they did. And then I would just start another one, and then every time you start a new one, you got to start a new email. So I can like dump Gmails like nobody's business.
I was going to say.
How many emails do you think you've had for the CPS revolution?
I bet you at least 100.
Really?
Yeah, for a while it happened twice a day for a little while, and I would just grind, and I would just make a new one, come up with a new original name. A lot of people remember Steve Gutenberg was an account for a long time that people remember. I named an account Ralph Macchio. I think it's like Gus Polinski or whatever John Candy's character name is in Home Alone. I named one after him. I had an account called Brother Bluto and Bud Suitcase, and I would just make all these original names and just come up with stuff. Sometimes I would number them.
I was going to say, I remember the numbering.
But then people would try and outsmart me and
Steal it.
and steal the next one.
Yeah, smart.
And I actually had trouble for a long time of people just mimicking me, and people didn't know that they weren't following my account. So that was an issue for a while that I didn't know what to even do about.
Who doesn't want to make a Snapchat account and just get a lot of girls sending their home sex tapes to them?
Well, that's true. That does have a ton of big part.
You're sitting there on overnights working a CNC machine, just getting a picture of a dude getting blown, like a video. Like, what's wrong with that? Like, talk about living life, man. I love it.
We've always talked about having an OnlyFans creator on the podcast to explain the dynamic of OnlyFans. Now, you are technically our first ever OnlyFans creator that we've had on the podcast.
Not in the way that anyone's going to think.
So you have an OnlyFans called Greasy Tony.
Greasy Tony's.
Greasy Tony's.
Which is the same as my Twitter handle, yes.
Okay.
And I use my OnlyFans as a billboard. Chicks send me their content and I blast out their usernames. And then the people that follow me can decide whether or not they like those girls, whether they want to follow their accounts, DM those girls or whatever. And so that is kind of my way. I don't create the content myself because I don't have any interest in creating porn. A lot of people do. It's not for me, and that's fine. But
he's a distributor, not a creator.
I'm a distributor, and I use it as a billboard.
I like that.
Yeah. I love it.
I mean, that makes sense.
It's great. I think it's great advertisement for these girls too. I mean, I keep thinking about everybody starting OnlyFans. Like, the only way to start an OnlyFans, I feel like, is you need to put yourself out to your friends and family and the people that know you. You need to say, hey, I have OnlyFans. That's like the only way to start off.
What a weird dynamic.
And you're giving an opportunity for these small people to grow without having to say, hey, here's my Facebook account with my grandma on it. Here's a picture of my fucking butthole.
It's,
You know?
I see a lot more on Instagram than on Facebook, but I do see what you're saying.
Yeah.
it's no different than like he had brought up the chive. It's no different than kind of what their game plan is. You know, they take these smaller, lesser known ladies, give them a platform.
Well, and it goes further than just ladies on OnlyFans. It goes like content creators in general.
Cooks,
is like
chefs.
People pay to get their videos featured on these pages and whatever. We had a TikTok that kind of blew up. It got like 1.2 million views. That big Instagram meme account, Shithead Steve.
Oh yeah, no shit.
Shithead Steve.
They messaged us and asked if they could put it on their page. I still don't know if they ever did.
No,
but
they never did.
They asked us if we could put it on their page, and they had me email them the original file and everything for it. So
That's pretty cool.
they have it, and I don't know if they're going to post it or not. But that is just kind of a testament to that same kind of realm. You know, like we only have like 1,400 followers on TikTok, right? So, but we just had one that like really blew up. And
we had 2, but they took one down for audio.
Yeah.
Which is saying penis.
So when it comes down to it, like that area, that like mid-level content creator, that's like just starting to kind of not necessarily take it serious. I think maybe is the wrong word for it, but like, for lack of a better term, take it serious to the point of doing it just more so than like, for more than just putting a camera at you and posting it. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
no, honestly, it doesn't. I was had a really hard time following you on that. But I don't want you to explain it more.
Okay.
So you've brought us all the way to where you said you were a CNC machinist.
Yeah.
And then you're not now.
No.
So when was the turnover? When were you like, man, I need to take this on full time?
So I was running it for a while and decided to do my first merch, which I got into koozies and t-shirts and had a couple designs that were like beer label knockoffs with my branding on them, essentially. Yeah. And
we've done that
I started with Indiegogo to raise the funds to buy the shirts. That was like my very first sale. It was a PBR t-shirt with College Peep Show logo on it.
Mm-hmm. I remember that logo.
And then I eventually developed that into a store and kind of ran with it. When I finally eventually quit my job, I had been doing t-shirts for a little while. For a while, I was folding my shirts at home and shipping them myself. And then I started doing the print to order. And I kind of told you about earlier, but Printful.com helps me with that. And Team Fun Now. And I had never done anything but shirts and sweatshirts. And I had finally gotten into hats. And I ordered 80 hats, 40 and 40, 2 different designs. And I sold them in like 12 hours.
Hell yeah.
Sold out. And the next day I quit my job.
That had to be electric.
It was.
What a feeling.
Yes, I imagine.
And I had already been running the account for like 4 years at this point, wondering whether, it didn't start as anything. I was like, well, this will be fun to make it. And then when it got popular, I was like, well, maybe I can do something with this. And then it's been constant evolution ever since then.
Yeah.
So you'd say, so it was like 4 years from start to quit job?
I would say
so about, 18, 2018, somewhere in there?
About 3.5, 4 years. Yeah. Damn. Probably like May 2018, maybe May 2017. I have to check for sure.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And I quit my job I had gotten laid off at one place, and actually through my network of people, my buddy Matt got me a job in St. Paul at a different machine shop. Yeah. And he was just a follower of mine at the time and was like, hey, our place is hiring. And so I worked there for like 9 months, and then I up and quit. I left a note for my boss. I came in the next night shift and he was like, well, what's going on? I got your note about you quitting. And I was like, well, this thing I've got going on, it's doing something and I want to give it a shot. And he literally said, if you think that's going good for you and you think it's going to work out and you want to give it a shot, you'd be a fool to stay here and work.
Absolutely.
Dude, that's 100%. A good boss.
Yeah, he was awesome. Those guys were great there.
It's a great boss.
And he goes, you can either work out your 2 weeks if you want, or you can just take your tools home and we'll pay you for tonight. And I was like, see you later. Give me my toolbox.
That's awesome.
I'm out of here.
And that's the type of deal that would take you back if it failed too.
Probably would.
If it went under, you would have been like, hey, come back.
No bad blood. You got to normalize that in the work community. Just bad blood. It's all about just being happy that somebody's trying to better themselves. Just being.
Yeah, you can't be mad at somebody for that.
Right.
It's the bosses that only worry about themselves being successful and not about all of their employees being successful. That's
for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
He wanted everybody to be successful. And if that's what's going to be successful for you, then he wants that for you.
That's cool. Did you tell him what it was about? You getting a bunch of titty pics?
Yeah. A lot of my coworkers knew. And then we did a company trip and we had a box at the Excel Center for a wild game.
Yeah.
And
nice.
we all, as a group, we all went there from work and people like in the Excel Center were recognizing me standing around and stuff and sending pictures. Shit. And so he was like, this is insane. Like, because he was like, he had been working in that shop for like 35 years.
So he's out of touch.
So he's out of touch with social media stuff. He didn't have social media, maybe has Facebook or something. And so he was like, this is kind of crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah. And then at that point, then he was starting to get it like something's going on.
So you're just a one-man show.
That's right. Yeah.
You need nothing. You're the content creator, content curator, the poster, the scripter, the editor, everything.
Yeah, that's right.
That's crazy.
Go ahead.
Do you design your own designs?
So I do a little bit. Like the Show Me That Butthole is one that I did, and that's like the far reach of my skill level on Photoshop. I learned how to use Photoshop by YouTube tutorials, and I can do minimal stuff. I can do a little bit of photo editing and stuff, but the rest of it I have to hire out because it's just beyond me.
Yeah.
I actually would like to take a course on it, but from what I've found so far, you kind of have to go to a college to do it. You can't just get it from like Adobe unless like a company buys it.
Well, if you need some designs, we can hook you up. I know a guy. I know a couple guys.
That'd be good.
But they're not very good at it.
Yeah. I know a guy that can find you a guy.
Yeah.
So
That's funny.
How did the whole show me your butthole stuff start? Just because that seems like your catchphrase.
It's huge. I mean, is that the most selling
That's
merch that you have?
That is the most popular. Shooting Deer Slamming Beers does really well.
And
I saw that one. That's beautiful.
Which is a great design, but that one's a little more seasonal when it comes to hunting season. There's a
put her on a blaze orange hat. You're good to go.
Absolutely. And I had a bunch of other ones. Adulting is bullshit and chuck it in the fuck it bucket. And then like little twists on popular ones, like instead of overworked and underpaid, I have overworked and underlaid.
Yep.
And stuff like that. Nice. And then Show Me That Butthole just came from the Snapchat. And it was actually, I have never been to WeFest, but at WeFest, somebody had taken a 4x8 sheet of plywood and spray painted Show Me That Butthole on it. Yeah. And I got like a dozen pictures of this sign up on a camper while I'm running the account. And so I threw it on a print order t-shirt. It did really well. And then I eventually threw it on this hat.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I'm going to wear this hat and then forget that I'm wearing this hat.
Yeah.
And then people are going to be staring at me. I'm like, what the fuck are you looking at?
You go to Walmart.
Yeah.
Family Christmas.
I'm ready to throw it. Yeah. I'm at family Christmas, ready to fight.
And that's true. There's really mixed reactions. Some people look at you in disgust. One guy said he got asked to leave a grocery store when he was like bagging onions and produce. And I was like, you can't be wearing that hat here.
Turn that inside out.
Yeah. What is this, high school all over again? Send me to the office. Get a new hat.
What are you, scared of buttholes?
So there's times where I'll rack my sunglasses up there just to cover it up.
Right.
I don't want attention from it, you know.
Yeah.
They're like, show me that. What does he want me to show him?
So now you're big on TikTok. I noticed you put out a lot of videos on TikTok. Yeah. And one series that I've been really obsessed with is this 60-minute six pack. How do you get started on doing something like that? So what gave you the idea to do this 60-minute six pack? What is it, first off?
So the idea is kind of like a power hour. A power hour is one shot of beer a minute for an hour, which comes out to be 5 beers if you're doing 1 ounce shots. It's 60 ounces. And I made CDs for that with full of 61-minute tracks. And so I was kind of familiar with doing that anyways. And then it was just kind of a time like this where we're sitting around joking with ideas. My buddy Nick Johnson and I kind of came up with the idea, and I visualized how fun it would be to highlight the whole process of finishing a six pack, because by the time you're done, you're having fun and the bar becomes a mess and you're doing shenanigans. Yeah. And it would be fun to watch. And I initially just started doing it on my Snapchat where I would just drink it, get drunk, and give my opinion on a beer. But I don't know a lot about beers. From doing this, I've been learning the difference between stouts and porters and stuff like that. But I love trying new things. So every 60-minute six pack I've tried so far is a beer I've never tasted before. Yeah. Until I'm on camera drinking it. So that's kind of one of the fun things about it. I haven't just done it on like the beer I normally drink, which I could write a bunch of bits for it maybe and have some funny lines for it. But so far they've all been beers that I've never tried.
What's your beer of choice? If you
it switches. Budweiser when I'm with my Budweiser drinking friends. I love drinking Mexican beer, Modelo and Pacifico. I told you Corona Familiar. Yeah.
We tried to get what was it, Modelo
Negra. That's kind of my favorite Mexican beer.
They didn't have her across.
Modelo Negra.
That's good stuff.
The darker Modelo.
I started out drinking Michelob Golden Draft Light when I was underage, and that was what my buddy's dad would buy us. So that was my favorite.
Yep. And then it's Busch Light around.
And then
here.
I turned 16 and I had buddies that would buy me beer and I could kind of choose what I wanted. Then it was Coors Light for a long time because I had a buddy, my buddy Fun Tony, who drank Coors Light exclusively for a long. He's a Pabst drinker now, but he drank Coors Light exclusively for a long time. And I looked up to him, so I wanted to drink Coors Light. Yeah. And then in my 20s, it was Old Mill Light for a long time. And now I'm not really as loyal anymore. I like changing it up.
I'm with you. I always change it, especially with the seasons, because I'm a big Oktoberfest guy when the fall time. Yeah. I like trying all these different Oktoberfests, but I wouldn't do it any other time other than the fall.
Yeah, Oktoberfests are great, and you got to kind of jump on it when they're in season because they're not around very long.
No, they're not. No. So now,
hold up. I just want to say I love the fact that you said Fun Tony, because that means that there's a lame Tony
or a greasy Tony.
You had to distinguish the fact that Fun Tony and like lame Tony.
Yeah, He has a little bit more fun than
Jake.
the average Tony, I think.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, an average Tony's kind of lame.
I was going to say too, I made the mistake when I was underage of not knowing beer. And I asked someone who was overage to buy me Miller Lite instead of Michelob, which is what I meant. And that's a very different flavor, especially when your palate is not ready for it. Miller is not good.
I feel like Miller's a big thing in Wisconsin.
Oh, it hurt.
Miller is big. A lot of people are Wisconsin brand loyal.
Yeah.
And Miller Lite's big, but I think it was between Miller Lite and Bud Light for a long time.
Yeah.
But then the Dark Horse Busch Light surpassed both of them. And I'm pretty sure that's number one.
So
now.
we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. Do you think that the content creation aspect of social media has created way more of a buzz around Busch Light than anything else?
It's definitely helped. Yeah. It's definitely helped.
I mean, our kind of theory behind it is that content creators like You Betcha, like Busch Light themselves on social media have kind of just like amplified Busch Light. Busch Light used to be the cheap beer. It was like $12 a case.
It was
the cheap alternative for college kids.
It still is
beer.
cheap.
Not as much anymore.
It's pretty much normal price now with the other main.
It is. It's very.
I guess around here it's $14.99. The next beer up is $15.99.
It's 17.
$17.99 at the liquor store right here.
Cricket prices.
And for what size are you talking?
24.
A dirty 30? Or,
We can't get 30s here.
Minnesota.
Oh, that must be a Minnesota thing.
Fucking sucks.
Another way that Wisconsin is better.
Yeah, no shit. It's like it's literally
Mark
encouraging because like whenever I go drink, I just buy a case, and like when we're in North Dakota, it's 30 racks. So it's like, well, I need to either go through this whole 30 rack tonight, or else like I just like leave it at the party. So like it's encouraging heavier drinking, you know?
Yeah.
30 racks are fun because of the 2 layers. So you can work into that second layer, and there's always that piece of cardboard between the 2, and it's just like a moment of pride when you pull that out.
I did it.
I got to the basement. Here we go.
15.
We're halfway through.
When I was in college, I still have this backpack, this Oakley backpack that fit a 30 rack perfectly. I couldn't believe a full 30 rack fit in this backpack. Yeah. So that's how I'd bring all my beer up to my dorm room. Just a full 30 rack.
Got a lot of books.
Cube on my back.
Yeah.
And then every time we'd go to parties, just have a full 30 rack on my back.
I had a Ducks Unlimited duffel bag that fit one exactly perfectly, so it didn't like outline the shape of it.
It didn't look like a cube.
You know, it didn't. So it's just like I'm carrying in something, right?
That's a lot of beer.
Bringing into the dorms like with a 30 rack in a Ducks Unlimited duffel bag, and it was electric because we could fit one in mine, one in your backpack. We would just go and fill up our fridges, and it was like a weekly occurrence. Every weekend we'd do that. So it was great. It was great. So now with CPS, with the clothing line that you have, what kind of volume do you do? What would you say? Like, you're obviously doing this full time, but you're the only person doing it. Yes. What's the scope of the future for CPS look like here?
Well, right now in my near future, my goal has kind of been to hit $1,000 in sales a day. And it's getting fairly close to that. It has its ups and downs, and it's so hard because a lot of my marketing is viral. And so the viral hit goes, and I have a crazy couple of days, but everything viral is gone just as fast as it showed up.
Exactly.
And you can watch that on the numbers, on the shoppers, on the store, that stuff, the information that it tracks.
Yep.
You can watch those peaks and valleys just along with the numbers on the videos that you're following.
Yeah, you can just line them up.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Talking about viral and whatnot. Backtrack to, I don't know if it's your highest viewed video, but it's one of your pinned videos. The video of you in your van. Your van is fucking beautiful.
Thank you.
And it's, why would you eat Wendy's in a Lamborghini? He says, because I own a Lamborghini. And it's amazing. And what I did is I clicked on the sound, and you're like the second highest video on that sound. And I look on the sound, and it's all of these rich douchey fuckers in Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
And the second highest video is fucking Dave in
that van.
It's an Astra van, right? Or what is it?
It's an 84 Chevy van G20.
And it's incredible.
Beautiful.
Your ashtray's full of ketchup. Yes. And you're dipping your fries in it. It's incredible.
So I saw that video of the guy in his Lambo, and being kind of new to TikTok when that video came out, I'm not that good at production with the filming. I'm learning as I go. And I saw that, and I'm like, well, I don't even have to really be in the shot. I can do that.
Yeah.
And so I was actually, I had hit a deer with my van, and I had driven to Rochester to get a new grill for it in my Jeep Wrangler. And so I had to drive all the way back home, picked up my van and then drove back to Hudson, and I got Wendy's drive-thru. I walked into Walmart and bought a bottle of ketchup to fill my ashtray in like the center console. And then I made that video sitting there in the parking lot at Wendy's.
And here's the thing, that video would have been incredible, but the part of you walking into Walmart, getting ketchup and filling your ashtray with ketchup, I feel like added such a small texture, but such a large impact.
And with the van has one of those big humps where the motor's underneath and stuff.
Yeah,
and
we call that a dog box,
and there's like a little glove box spot that flips open, and I had my nuggies and fries in there. and it just worked out beautifully. And I actually made a video commenting about what you just said about how it was kind of funny that all these supercars, and then that one got like 875,000 views
because the normal man saw it and was like, yes.
And I wake up every day thinking like, what am I going to do next? And when I made that video, I was like, oh, I was just going to leave to the grocery store, but I could whip this out quick. And I made that video, and then that one just worked. Sometimes I put a ton of effort into stuff and it doesn't do that great. And I'm happy with it. Sometimes I'm not that happy with it, and it just does incredible. You never know. You just got to keep putting stuff out there and keep bettering. And
that's the best and worst part I think about social media is that you could put all this work into something and it just fails, doesn't do anything. But then you can put just a small amount of effort, and that's the one that's going to break through. And you don't know. And that's why you just got to keep pushing and putting out content constantly, because one thing's going to fucking hit, and that's when you're.
And I mean, we got 5 filters of people like, oh, that's a bad idea. Oh, that's a good idea. Well, we could all be like, that's a good idea. And it still don't work.
Yeah. But one issue with TikTok, I think, is that it's all trends. Like if you have an idea for something, and if you like, oh, fuck, I could do this, you need to do that now. You don't need to don't think about it. You shoot that video now and you post that now, because by the time you think about it, you're not going to be able to do it anymore.
And I struggle with a lot of the biggest trends, because I look at them and I'm like, oh, that was a great idea. And that was a great idea. And then I'm like, well, what do I do? They've got it all covered. And then you see another one and it's like, oh, I never even thought about it that way. Yeah. That's one of the things that I think is so great about TikTok, is just the incredible things people come up with.
Yeah. It's unreal.
So many different versions of the same thing.
It is. And it's all kind of just memes. Like we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago too, is like everything just kind of falls under the same category of like a meme. Like at its boiling point, it is just a meme recreated, regurgitated in a different way every single time.
And there's nothing wrong with redoing other people's content with trends and taking what somebody else did, or like you took the sound and lip syncing. Like if you put your hint on it, it's completely different.
Well, I think one thing that helps you too is not very many people have such beautiful hair and an amazing beard.
So his whole style, don't you?
I ain't sleeping on none of it, dude. It is beautiful.
All, you need to know, do you get those hats brand new? That hat you have on with the cord, because that's a beautiful old style hat. Yes. I love Grandpa's old style trucker hats. So it's like winter right now. So I'm wearing the on tap stocking hat. But I have a massive collection of old trucker hats. Yeah, that's my passion.
I kind of call them old farmer hats, because the old farmers all wore like the kind of flat bills with just a slight bend in it, kind of like a baseball cap would have. Dude. Not this stuff where it's bent into your nose bridge and stuff, you know. And
I feel like you guys just became best friends.
You should see my collection, dude. I got Pioneer hats from my grandpa in the box from 83. Nice. And
is that the
90s hats?
Is that the white corduroy one? I have a white.
I do. White corduroy with the patch in the box.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to copy that patch, but instead of Pioneer, it's going to say.
Oh boy, we need to bleep that out, because somebody's going to take that.
Oh yeah, that's probably a good point.
Yeah.
Fuck the market.
Fuck these guys.
Jake's on it.
We're good. Yeah. But I love it. No, I love old style. And like with the Show Me Your Butthole and the shooting beers, drinking beers, it's the classic, just plain Jane, but it's so perfect to me. That's what I love. Like with our on tap patch hats, just simple, but I don't know. That's what I love. I love that.
Someone recently explained to me the squint test. And if you have to look at it and squint and try to focus to see it, it's too busy. The writing's too small. There's things that could be improved to make it more of a billboard, to make it easier to read.
Right. I'm never going to forget that.
Simple is just better.
That is brilliant. Yeah. Very
unreal. So now, where do you draw inspiration from? Like, who are some?
I'm not done with the style. You're wearing that fucking tie? The bolo tie. What is it called?
A bolo tie.
A bolo tie.
Yeah.
And then you have a bottle opener. Yeah. On your pearl snap fucking shirt.
Thank you,
dude. Woo! This is incredible.
It just got hotter in here.
Puerto Rican fence climbers.
Puerto Rican fence climbers. Dude. Oh, this is awesome.
That's
I'm moving to Hudson.
gorgeous.
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 Dude. I love it, man.
Okay, so now we're off of.
Okay.
Are you done?
That's right.
Are you
Yeah,
good?
I'm done. I'm done
All
with the style.
You done simping
Rings.
over here? You
Big
done
on the
simping?
rings too. I love the ring.
Yeah, that is dope too.
Waylon Jennings, baby. I love Waylon.
Hell yeah, dude. Let's go.
Where do you draw inspiration from? Like, who are some creators that you follow and look to for inspiration?
Especially musicians, touring musicians. I've been following first of all, people say pop country and they throw that term around, and I have a problem with that term. I like pop music. I think pop music is good. And what pop country is actually country pop. It's pop music dressed up in denim.
Yes.
And it's fine, but it's lost its soul.
Mm-hmm.
The singer-songwriters, the soul that comes from experiencing things and writing a song and then performing your old songs is just so much different. So I draw a lot of inspiration from singer-songwriters and the country movement that is off the radio, because they are the originals. They're the creators. They're doing it their own way. And I love that.
Yeah.
They're the ones writing the songs for the guys that everyone loves.
That's where you're gonna connect with Dalton, because and I've been getting into that style of country too lately. And it's just it's so much more meaningful. It has so much more art to it.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
You can listen to the song, and I can tell if I listen to not to dog on anybody, but like a Jason Aldean song or a Luke Bryan song. I know that they didn't really do that.
No.
But you listen to it's a bigger, smaller Tyler Childers, any of those guys, you hear it in their voice. You're like, they're really singing it. They're like, they know it.
Yeah.
Like I can hear the hurt, that kind of thing.
I just saw Dave Grohl talk about this, about how touring in a van is one of the most important parts of, and not specifically a van. I have a van too, but that's kind of a new addition to my fleet. But just that developing as a musician and living it and being on the road and struggling just goes so far. And and I love that they're the guys creating the trends. They are the trends.
It's part of the journey.
What are they like top, let's say your favorite 4 or something, favorite 3?
Off the top of my head, some of the newer guys I've been following that I really like their music is Joshua Ray Walker, Vincent Neil Emerson, Joe Stamban, Rob Linus. There's guys like Mike and the Moon Pies who have been around for a while.
I like that name.
Mike and the Moon Pies are like the ultimate honky tonk bar band.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
I saw them at the Showboat Saloon in Wisconsin Dells. And
I fucking love the Showboat.
You've been to the Showboat?
Yeah.
We were just
That place is the best.
I go on Sunday. I go to Wisconsin Dells on Sunday. I'll be at the fucking Showboat. We always go there for beers. They're best price beers in Wisconsin Dells.
Yeah, they have a lot of good deals. They have like $2 Busch Lights on Mondays or something like that. Like they have a lot of crazy good deals. They have a steak night every Wednesday.
And all the locals are there. You get to know the locals. It's not tourist
They
shit.
had this crazy good jumbo shrimp special on like Thursday nights or whatever. And I don't remember. Monday night. It was Monday night.
You spent like a whole week there, huh?
I've been there like, well, I went there for a show in late August, and then I was there Labor Day weekend for my cousin's bachelor party. And then I was there again like 2 weeks ago for a show. So I've been there 3 times within the last half a year, probably 3 months.
Well, I'll have to mark those people down because I'll have to check into that because that sounds awesome. That sounds great.
Yeah, I'll have to listen back and remember the names.
Yeah, I do. So I actually run a Spotify and an Apple Music, and I make a lot of playlists that have different sounds. So I have like a honky tonk country playlist. I have one called Baby I Was Born a Sinner, and it's all songs about loving and leaving, rambling and gambling. And some of them cross genres, some don't. I have one that's called Bangers Only, and it's all like 2000s Ja Rule type stuff.
Fuck yeah.
All right, I need your damn Spotify.
Yeah, shout it out. What's the names of the playlist?
It's CPS Dave on Spotify and Apple Music, and you can find all my playlists on there.
I'm sold.
I've got a playlist called Jazz Cabbage that's like 70s feel good songs, like Redbone, Come and Get Your Love.
Yep.
I've got Jazz Cabbage 2 that's like more 65 to 75, like psychedelic rock type stuff.
Nice.
Dude.
I love making playlists. I love music. I've gone so far into just listening to music that I've kind of lost interest in TV shows. I have Netflix and my buddy has me on his Plex server, so I have a lot of options, but I'd almost just rather be listening to music.
Okay. See, that sounds great because I feel like I've lost so much love for music. Like I feel like I haven't been able to get into it like I used to. But do you listen to any podcasts at all? Like, have you?
I haven't in the last year. Probably I haven't listened to a lot of podcasts.
So by trade, I do heavy equipment operating, and I'm just sitting by myself all day. And music got so old because I'd listen to 12 hours a day of straight music. And
the same way.
Podcasts, like now all I listen to is podcasts, and now I'm switching to audiobooks. Cody got me on audiobooks, but that's for me is just all podcasts and audiobooks. But you sound like you've gone so deep and find so much more in music, and I haven't discovered that.
With the podcasting, my attention span's just gotten shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
And so
I get it.
I listen for a while, but then I'm doing stuff on my phone and I flip it off and I don't remember to turn it back on.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of why I've gotten out of podcasting, but I do still enjoy them. I've got some favorites like the Church of What's Happening Right Now with Joey Diaz.
Okay. Yep.
With a buddy of Rogan. And I don't know, I can't think of any at the top of my head, but I do enjoy podcasting, but I feel like lately I've just been more into listening to records and listening to old music and learning albums from these artists that I like rather than just the hit single from.
Yes.
I grew up in the height of like Napster and the development of iTunes, and you could just buy one song for $1.
LimeWire,
exactly.
Yes.
Rocket MP3.
So many viruses.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You'd want to download like a Beatles song and it would just be straight up virus in your computer.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I remember on dial-up waiting days to download a Green Day song.
Yeah.
But that's also you were talking about records and shit. When you did that, when that craze started, where you buy one song at a time, records still meant something. That they had a story, a record from the
first song to
the end. It was a story. The songs told a story, and they don't do that no more. Now it's all one hit wonders.
Not that they don't.
Maybe they're
what
not
you listening to, they don't.
Yeah. And that's what I like to go back and, like you said, go to listen to the older shit and just listen to whole records of like what they were feeling at that time frame in their lives.
Yeah, and I agree. Guys like Cody Jinks and Ward Davis and Whitey Morgan and even Chris Stapleton were kind of the front runners in that alternative sound, I feel like.
Okay.
And now I think there's a lot of artists that have very good albums where you don't just want to listen to that one song. You want to enjoy the whole thing, which it just changes music. I feel like
absolutely
enjoying something as an album. I remember growing up and getting my first CDs, which I don't know if you guys remember your first CDs ever.
I do.
Oh, yeah.
Mine was, I'm very indecisive. I always have to get 2 of everything. And I bought the Smash Mouth Fushu Mang album and Sugar Ray's Floored. And I listened to those 2
Scooby-Doo
CDs
vibes all day.
over and over and over again. And I liked every song on them. But then when the singles era started happening with iTunes and stuff, you just lost that. And you didn't listen to full albums because all of a sudden you had like access to so much that you couldn't imagine buying 3,000 singles. So you were just picking and choosing what you liked.
100%. My first concert I ever went to was actually Smash Mouth.
It was?
And NSYNC. Smash Mouth and NSYNC were touring together with someone else. It was like a really random mashup. It was Smash Mouth, NSYNC, and I want to say Smashing Pumpkins.
That sounds electric.
It was just the weirdest mashup looking back at it. But I was, I think, 8 years old. It was at the Alaris Center in Grand Forks, North Dakota. I was 8 years old on my uncle's shoulders watching NSYNC and Smash Mouth perform. I was just a big NSYNC guy at 8 years old.
God,
I can tell you the first 2 CDs, and this is a testament to the music I like. It was the Marshall Mathers LP.
Fuck yeah.
And I would listen to it just on repeat on this big black boombox stereo when my mom wasn't home and my brother was out of town because it was his 2 CDs actually. And so it was the Marshall Mathers LP, and then I want to say Johnny Cash's The American 4. One of those where it was like, all the hits everybody knows, and I just sit and vibe to those songs over and over. I'd go from like, all the hating women music to the Johnny Cash.
Right. The first and only CD I've ever bought in my life was Toxicity by System of a Down. And I remember that.
Really?
Yeah. I
did not know that.
You never bought CDs other than that? Just that
No.
one?
Because I feel like we were at that age where when you started just downloading online, it's the only actual physical CD I've bought. And I was too young to buy it. So I had to have my cousin buy it for me.
Because you had to be 18 or older, right? To buy the explicit ones at Target. You couldn't buy them at Walmart. All the Walmart CDs I remember weren't like, never bought CDs at Walmart because they're all edited.
So this is going to tell you, this was at Barnes and Noble.
Really?
I remember that much. I remember so much weird shit in my life. Just really small shit that seemed to have such an impact. Barnes and Noble in Maplewood.
I remember
Toxicity.
You had to go to Barnes and Noble or Target to get the explicit versions of these CDs.
Just because Walmart would not sell them?
No, would not.
Theirs were all cleaned
all
up.
edited.
Oh, what?
All edited versions of the song.
Damn.
Yeah.
So it was
super weird.
That's crazy for me. Yeah. And then I just kept getting everything online after that. But that was a great
50
album.
Cent too. That was a big impact.
I think my first CD was D12 World. In that group that Eminem was in.
I had 50 Cent's
Get Rich or Die Trying.
Get Rich or Die.
2010.
It's red background, no shirt.
Yes.
White
Broken
underwear,
glass.
jeans. Yeah,
Broken glass on
yes.
the cover.
I knew a guy that told his truck. He went off a sharp corner on a Dugway back home where I'm from, and we went down and pulled it out with a tractor, and we like raided his truck because he claimed insurance on it. Yeah, and so I'm sure it's been plenty of years now.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna rat him out, you know.
State adjudication.
But my buddies even like drilled a hole in the plastic gas tank and stole his gas because it was all insurance claims. So he's like, whatever, man, we don't want the truck anymore. Do whatever you're gonna do.
Why not just
And
take the whole tank?
We just picked it clean, yeah. And I still have Get Rich or Die Trying from that truck.
Funny.
That's electric.
That's funny. I remember as a kid seeing this and being like, I want everything involved with this. I bought the video game. I bought the CD. I bought the movie. I bought everything. I was such a big 50 Cent fan when that movie came out.
Dude, he
when
was-
the song, the album, the CD, the game, everything.
There was
I bought
nothing
everything.
like him. There was nothing like
I bought
him.
everything. I had a G Unit white flat bill hat I wore in my 5th grade photo.
5th grade G
Fifth
Unit
grade.
guy.
Yeah, he's kind of one of the last like gangster rappers.
Oh,
Kind
dude,
of, yeah. But he was like
from that era.
Yeah,
Said
he
it
was
and
also
meant
kind
it.
of the first person to like really get the bag with that persona that he had also. So like he kind of like put this content creator position out there before that was really a thing also.
Yeah, he made a franchise. He wasn't just he was a figure.
Exactly.
He wasn't a musician.
Yeah. And then he started Vitamin Water, sold that to Coca-Cola. Like the dude has just made an astronomical amount of money.
Yeah, that's kind of my end game is to just get so big that somebody wants to buy me.
Yeah, sell something to Coke. Yeah, I hear you.
And when I started my stuff, it was all College Peep Show and then Rep CPS. But then Snapchat had figured out how to shut down that hack I was running that I had mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
It became harder and harder to keep accounts open. But then they allow uploading just from the app like we can do now. So there is still an account. It's Snap Rep CPS. But then I kind of just transitioned everything from being, I was using the words like we and our and us, and I transitioned it all to be on my shoulders and to be the guy.
Yep.
CPS Dave was just given to me as a nickname kind of, and it stuck. And then I just took the reins and said, hey, I am the guy. And now the whole social media is just all revolving around me. I am the brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're a beautiful brand, sir.
Thank you.
I remember what year did you turn 21?
Yes.
2015
It's an important year in a man's life. You should
No.
or 2016.
No.
Well,
It was
I don't remember
2016.
much because I drank a lot.
I turned 21 in 2016. I'm October of 95.
So it'd been 2015. Easy as that.
When were you born?
Well, I know that when I graduated,
95 or
I graduated
94?
in 13, so it would
Guys
have
are
been
ridiculous.
It's not that hard.
It's not that hard at all.
15.
No. That's when we went on a party bus for our buddy's 21st birthday over in Wisconsin.
Was that Brody?
Yes. And I believe it was Stone Lake Strip Club. It was one of the smaller strip clubs. And you were there.
Yes.
And everybody's like, fucking CPS Dave is here.
Was that at Phipps in Hayward?
It was Phipps. It was Phipps. It was just a hole in the fucking wall.
I don't know if you remember
remember any of
this, and I'm not going to say any details that happened, but I'm pretty sure a big fight broke out.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. I do.
What? And it was
that?
revolved around you. So I remember a big fight breaking out or something crazy happening. We left right then and there because there was like 10 of us there.
You know what?
And I was like, we got to get out of here because this is not going to end well for any one of us.
That was in the middle of like January, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we had I had my van there probably.
Yes.
And we had like 14 guys in my van all piled in there drunk just for like a guy's fishing weekend.
So this would have been Tucker, not Brody.
It was Brody's.
It was
when I seen him, it was Brody's. Brody's Brody's birthday. That's my best
Brody's
friend.
November.
Oh, they're gonna go way off, but yeah. So yeah. But yeah. So that was huge. Just like the fact that that's CPS Dave. That you're like a public figure when you go, like you said, when you went to the XL and people recognize you, like that. I've been recognized a couple times, and I think it feels so great. And I'm not nearly the level that you were at. And how incredible is that to you?
It's kind of crazy. It's fun actually. Getting that much attention is kind of a high when you're out and about, and when you're in the bar room, that's like my time to shine. Mm-hmm. It's weird when I'm like staring at the gas station wall of beverages, and I'm like, geez, which Gatorade do I buy today? And then someone's like, hey, can I get a picture?
Yeah.
Then it's kind of awkward, but I don't mind doing it. It just catches you off guard sometimes. You're not even expecting to be seen or be known. Sometimes people don't want to bother you, so you don't even know that you're recognized. And then I'll get like back in my vehicle and they'll send me a picture of me.
Right.
But they won't say hi. And I'm like, oh, well, you should have.
That's even creepier.
Yeah, it is. It's like super
Unsolicited self pictures of you. Yeah, fuck that.
No, that's awesome.
I've been recognized like all over the place. I've been walking the strip in Vegas and someone sent a picture of me from across the strip.
No shit.
Like, which kind of makes sense because a lot of people travel there, from all over. But yeah, and one of the things that I carefully tried to do whenever it started out with area codes and I would look them up, but every time I noticed that people were from areas outside of my nucleus, states that I haven't been to, I would make sure to share those because people rally behind it when they're part of it.
Oh,
Right.
absolutely.
So I would always try to include people from these other regions just to build a little bit of a following there to get them feeling included, which they were included. It was helpful.
And get them and then, their buddies, their friends.
That's exactly our idea behind here.
Yeah, I'll give you a little peek behind the curtain right now to all the listeners. We just sent out Christmas cards and we were limited on Christmas cards and we sold out. I made everybody out of state I sent to first. Before people around here. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you got to keep them in.
To be fair, there was maybe only 5 that asked for Christmas cards that didn't get them. So
yes, there wasn't many.
We did run out. Yeah. But I mean,
we hand delivered around here first.
But then it's so cool. It's so cool to me to see those people, like you said, watching the area codes and like, we had Newark, Delaware, and California, and Massachusetts, and Texas,
West Virginia.
Oh, damn.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
West Virginia, all over the place.
It feels so fucking cool.
Who is that random ass guy in the Middle East? You remember that shit?
Oh,
Yeah.
I think that was
United Arab Emirates.
I think that was
VPN?
like a VPN.
No,
I wish it wasn't.
no. Stationed over there.
Oh, yeah.
Military.
Yeah,
It was military.
Yeah.
Military.
That's
They
badass.
message us.
Actually, I had the military guys to thank for spreading my brand furthest first because
Absolutely.
because they all get together from all over the
Of
country
course.
and all over the world, and then they all spread back out and go back home.
Yes.
And so they would all share it with each other when they were stuck in a barracks board.
Oh, I'm sure that
Go
is
back home,
a godsend when you're.
especially the reservists or even the full timers. It was just huge for me because they spread it so far and they traveled so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's got to be crazy. Can you no, with your website, can you see like what is there? Has there ever been a time where you like log in and you're like, holy shit, there's like a lot of people in West Virginia buying these hats right now. This is kind of crazy because I imagine that goes in trends.
Sometimes when I see that, all of a sudden there'll be like 50 people shopping right now, and it's like, wow, what's going on? And then I kind of start to scour the internet because something has to motivate those people to see that. And I'm not putting ads in newspapers. So it's usually something on Instagram, something on TikTok,
But if you did?
something on Facebook. I mean, I haven't really marketed to the newspaper crowd. Maybe I should start selling to families,
Pioneer would love the show.
A bunch of 80-year-olds buying his show me your butthole hats.
I've had some old ladies really like the feels good to be horny ones. Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, they love it.
Really?
Fucking nursing homes are just a playground for STDs.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Sometimes you got to fuck your way out of those places.
You have to. Yeah, I mean, you could probably sell a lot of feels good to be horny at nursing homes.
I suppose the people in there haven't been able to get pregnant in like 40 years.
Yeah,
That's not a bad point.
just purely having fun at that point.
Actually,
no
though,
consequences.
I have read a statistic that said something like a crazy percentage of STDs get transferred in old folks' homes because
Doesn't matter.
They
they're
probably
just constantly
they probably think
going at
communists
it.
make condoms or something.
They're just constantly going at it. And they don't care. They're like, hey,
who
whatever.
cares? Like,
We're not doing anything else. We might as
Contra
well.
what?
Yeah.
Contraband? Contra what?
What? Yeah. What is it? Chlamydia or syphilis that fucks with your head? Like, I already have dementia. Who
Syphilis.
the fuck cares?
Syphilis.
Yeah. Who cares?
That's what the little alcohol runner guy.
What the fuck are you talking
The
about?
gangster, the real gangster.
You doing all right?
Al Capone?
Chicago. Yeah.
Oh, Al Capone. Yeah, he died. He had
Syphilis.
complications from syphilis, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He had a cabin in Hinckley, Minnesota.
Yeah. He used the border.
10 minutes from here.
Canada.
Hayward, Wisconsin area too.
Really?
Dude, he had a bunch of cabins.
Yeah, he did. But
Claim to
still
fame.
kind of cool.
I actually talked to a guy at this place called Dow's Corner. I don't remember what highway it's on, but it's like north of Hayward, Spider Lake area, I think. And he was talking about how a lot of people imagine that Al Capone was like hiding out when he was up here and they were like caving him up. So he was hiding and he was like, no. He goes, Al Capone was the first millionaire. he was living lavishly. He would come up here and he would have all these special cabins built for him and stuff. And he had his own private resorts and lived lavishly up here.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The government wanted him to hide, but the people loved him. I mean, he started, what was it? He would give food to the homeless and all that. He was the first one to do that.
Oh yeah,
The government didn't do that. Al Capone did that.
Like a modern day
hear
Robin
that.
Hood.
Yeah, dude. He was Bonnie and Clyde. Like he was the guy. Everyone's like, that guy's
I don't know
awesome.
if Bonnie and Clyde really helped out the locals.
But they liked him.
I was a little fucked up. But yeah, well, yeah, they did like him, didn't they?
Yes.
They liked Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot.
Anti-establishment.
I don't know a lot about them.
Like Killdozer shit.
Killdozer.
Yeah.
I can get
Yeah,
behind
don't-
that.
Yeah, he did some damage, but we liked him.
Tread on those that tread on you, right?
Yes.
That's the Killdozer.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what he started with, right? He hit somebody's like.
No, he made the armor plated bulldozer because of taxes, and
Then he bulldozed what? He bulldozed
All those
specific
buildings.
buildings.
Yes.
Like damn near the
A
town.
bunch of stuff.
But he picked and chose what he hit.
Yes,
Yeah.
people that pissed him off, and he didn't hurt anybody. That's the way to fucking do it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go with a bang, don't hurt anybody. Destroy their businesses.
I mean, that's one way to do it, but probably don't though.
we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it.
I don't hate it.
We'll talk about it off air.
maybe err on the side of not doing that if you're thinking about it.
If you're gonna
Maybe.
do it, that's the way to do it.
It would be one
You're
way
not
to do it.
hurting somebody. Like that's the thing. Like you're not hurting somebody. I don't know.
Physically.
Yes, exactly. I don't know. Physically.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Am I incriminating myself right now?
No, you're just condoning violence.
I don't have a shop to build a bulldozer right now, so maybe talk to me in like a year. Maybe we can re come back.
I'll give you a 0 turn. You can light that up with a bunch of armor plates and stuff.
Hell yeah.
Just
Sick.
really bump into cars and stuff.
All right, perfect.
All right. Well, I think that kind of wraps everything up. We're about at an hour right now. Where can
Yes.
everyone find you, Dave?
All of my social media is CPS Dave. And then there's also Rep CPS on like Facebook and Instagram, which is more of stuff that's sent in by followers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your website?
Website is repcps.com, REPCPS.
Okay. And TikTok is just CPS Dave.
TikTok is CPS Dave.
It's where you get this.
It's my TikTok, it's my Instagram, Facebook, Apple Music, Spotify, Cash App, and Venmo. Everything CPS.
There we go. Perfect. Got to make
Awesome.
it easy. I love it.
Perfect. All
Love it,
right.
man.
Well, sounds good. Thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll have you on again soon.
That sounds good.
Yeah, show me your butthole.
Thanks for listening to On Tap with the Boys. Be sure to follow us on social media and stay updated. Tune in next week for another episode about Tyler's problems.